Her screams that day still echo in my head, not because I felt sorry for her, but because I had seen it coming. Every single part of it. Her daughter's lifeless body floating in my Olympic-sized backyard pool, the same pool I had asked her and her feral little spawn to stay out of at least 23 times, was the final crack in a dam that had been leaking stupidity for months. It wasn't my negligence. It wasn't an accident. It was a full-blown consequence. Karen, queen of the HOA, thought the fence around my property was merely decorative. She treated my home like a community playground and my pool like her private spa. And her daughter, well, she treated the no trespassing signs like invitations. It didn't matter that I had gates with locks, cameras, motion sensors, and even hired a part-time security guy with a clipboard. Karen always had a way of weaseling in. She called it community spirit. I called it criminal trespassing. The day of the incident, I was at work. My security camera alerted me, motion detected at 11:42 a.m. Karen had picked the lock to the side gate again. Her daughter, about 7 or 8, wearing floaties and zero adult supervision, launched herself into the deep end like it was Disneyland. Problem is, floaties don't help if you pass out from heat stroke while swimming alone. Nobody noticed. Nobody helped. Not even Karen, who was too busy sipping wine by the shallow end, scrolling on her HOA group chat to complain about my hedge trimming schedule. By the time paramedics arrived, because my security system called emergency services, when the motion sensor didn't detect any more movement in the pool, it was too late. Karen was hysterical, blaming everything from the chlorine levels to my choice of pool tile. But the camera footage? It didn't lie. I wasn't home. She broke in, her daughter jumped in, and she never watched her. Welcome to P Stories. Make sure you like and subscribe for your top-notch HOA drama. Now let me take you back to when the trespassing started. To the first time Karen took her polyester swimsuit and cheap bottle of rosé into my yard like she paid taxes on it. This woman didn't knock, didn't call, just strutted in like a self-appointed pool inspector. She said her HOA badge gave her full access. Spoiler alert, it didn't. First time I saw her back there, I thought maybe she got lost. My pool sits behind a 12-foot privacy fence with a locked iron gate, surrounded by thick hedges. And if you didn't know better, you'd think it was a luxury hotel, not some backyard in a quiet cul-de-sac. But there she was, Karen, in her leopard print one-piece and floppy sun hat, lounging on my chair like she owned the place. Margarita glass sweating on the side table, Bluetooth speaker blaring some off-brand yoga playlist. "Excuse me?" I called out, stunned. She didn't even flinch, just waved a hand at me like I was the help. "Oh, I let myself in," she said, eyes still hidden behind those oversized sunglasses that made her look like a budget Audrey Hepburn. Community resources should be shared, and this pool is clearly underutilized. That's when I realized this wasn't some one-time confusion. No, Karen had declared war. I told her to leave immediately, reminded her it was private property. She rolled her eyes, packed up her towel and knockoff Louis Vuitton tote, and said, "I'll be back tomorrow. Don't be so uptight." The next day, I changed the locks on the gate. She brought bolt cutters. She escalated quickly. Every time I locked her out, she found a way in. Every time I warned her, she acted like I was the criminal. She called code enforcement on me for hoarding water resources. Filed a bogus noise complaint because my pool pump turned on at night. Once, she even climbed my fence using a stepladder she borrowed from her neighbor and cannonballed in like it was spring break. Her daughter started tagging along too. Sweet kid, honestly, deserved better. But she was a sponge for Karen's entitlement. She'd splash around unsupervised while Karen posted selfies by my pool, captioned HOA perks. I caught the kid trying to open my pool shed once. Probably looking for floaties. I had to install a lock on that too. I installed cameras. Karen complained to the HOA board that I was spying on residents. I posted a sign, private property, trespassers will be prosecuted. Karen took a photo and posted it on the Nextdoor app, claiming I was anti-community. It became a circus. I had to take time off work to install a chain link perimeter inside the privacy fence. She broke through that too, said it made the neighborhood look like a prison. I called the cops. They gave her a warning. She used that warning as toilet paper. This woman was untouchable, or so she thought, until that day. By week 6 of Poolgate, I was running on rage, caffeine, and a full-blown obsession with outmaneuvering Karen. I had become part homeowner, part amateur security specialist, and full-time HOA punching bag. The woman had the board wrapped around her perfectly manicured finger. Every complaint I filed magically disappeared. Every meeting I attended was turned into a roast session. Guess who the main dish was? Yours truly. But I wasn't about to back down. I installed motion-activated sprinklers with settings aggressive enough to drench an ostrich. Karen called them hostile weapons in the HOA newsletter. I added a second fence inside the first one, this time with barbed wire. Decorative, but still enough to get the message across. Her response? A trampoline on the neighbor's side to bounce over. I swear on all things chlorinated, she launched herself into my pool like it was the X Games. She started bringing guests, actual guests. Her book club, her yoga posse, even her creepy ex-husband with his Bluetooth earpiece and cargo shorts. My backyard turned into a summer resort for unwanted Karens and their equally delusional friends. She put it on the HOA's Facebook page as a resident feature. My home, my pool, my chairs. Her bragging rights. I sent certified letters, filed cease and desist orders. Every step I took, she danced around like a caffeinated peacock. The cops stopped taking my calls. One officer actually shrugged and said, "Maybe you should just let them use the pool." I considered installing a moat with gators. The breaking point came a week before the incident. I caught her hosting a birthday party, a full-blown kid rager. Bounce house in my driveway, pizza delivery guy asking me where to set up, and a clown, an actual clown, smoking a cigarette by my rose bushes. I stormed out, yelling. Karen had the audacity to laugh. "Don't be such a party pooper. You weren't even home." I nearly blacked out from sheer fury. "I swear, Karen, the next time someone crosses that gate, it's not going to end well," I said. She waved me off like I was pitching a timeshare. Then came the day. The heat was brutal. Triple digits by noon. I was stuck at work. No party, no guests, no announcement. Just Karen and her little girl sneaking in again. Camera caught everything. The girl jumped in alone. Karen was on a lounge chair, began texting. Minutes passed. Then silence. By the time the motion sensors realized there was no movement in the pool and the emergency alert kicked in, the damage was done. Her lawyer, fresh out of law school or maybe fresh out of a cereal box, stood beside her, trying hard to look competent. I sat quietly, no theatrics, no crocodile tears, just folders. Stacked with footage, warnings, cease and desists, and that one security screenshot where Karen was literally pouring boxed wine into a sippy cup while her daughter swam alone. She was suing me for wrongful death, emotional distress, and neglect. Neglect. The woman who broke into my property repeatedly was accusing me of not doing enough to protect her daughter. It would have been laughable if it wasn't so disgusting. Her lawyer opened strong, painting me as an angry, antisocial loner with an ego bigger than my pool. Claimed I was hoarding a community resource and that Karen, a devoted mother, was simply trying to give her daughter joy in a neighborhood plagued with elitism and exclusion. Then it was my turn. My lawyer, a 60-something bulldog in a dusty suit who'd gone toe-to-toe with oil companies and won, stood up and casually plugged a USB stick into the courtroom monitor. The screen lit up with time-stamped footage. One by one, we played the clips. Karen using bolt cutters. Karen holding open the gate for her yoga pals. Karen diving in with a mimosa. Karen on the day of the incident, sipping Chardonnay as her daughter jumped into the deep end with no life jacket and no adult in the water. The courtroom was silent. We presented the certified warnings, the emails, the security reports, the police call logs, even the HOA meeting recordings where she laughed off my concerns and called me a pool hoarder. Then came the cherry on top. A former HOA board member who had since moved away testified under oath that Karen routinely bragged about having full access to my yard and had even suggested to others that the HOA technically owned the pool by jurisdiction. Her words on record. Karen's face, melted smugness. It took the jury less than an hour. Not only was I cleared of all charges, but the judge reprimanded Karen for criminal trespassing, falsifying community policies, and endangering a minor. Her lawsuit crumbled. I countersued and won. Big. Karen lost her HOA presidency. Her house? On the market within weeks. Word spread fast. No one wanted to be the woman who blamed a neighbor for her own reckless tragedy. Justice wasn't just served. It was flamethrowered.